Backyard Professor Chess videos. For whatever strange reason, the way my mind works, I thought of Mrs. Ransom today. My 9th grade English teacher, the redhead, the fussy, stuffy woman. She was a wonderful teacher. She tried to teach us English. She advocated an elucidation of correct English as best we could. I didn't learn a damn thing from her except this. Every day she would come into class and here's what she would do. Now class. We couldn't help it. We cracked up half the time. That's all. That's the only indelible impression she left on us. What she taught us about nouns, adjectives, and adverbs, and participials and all that, I haven't got a clue. But anyway, I am going to give you a clue, though, with some practice chess games that I've been playing recently. My computer is playing me at about my level. It adjusts itself. Right now I'm playing my Shredder chess app. And these games took place between 1360 and 1370 in the rating. So Grandmaster chess? No. Improvement chess? Yes. I couldn't have played these games 2 months ago. I really couldn't. Here's what's happening. Now, I don't know everything about the Silman thinking technique. I'm still studying and learning, and I'm restudying much of his material, and I'm relearning much of his material. But I'm beginning to see a little bit better. I can see my chess improving, and this is exciting to me. Am I ready for tournament chess? No, but I'm going to go. I'm going to start going to the chess tournaments as much as I can. So it's an experience, you guys. It's the only way to really strengthen our chess is to go play in tournaments, get our heads kicked in, learn some humility, learn some great chess lessons, etc. I'm trying to advocate what Silman says and does. I am trying to put that into practice. In the process, I am starting to play through a lot of master games. And because I've seen patterns in these games, one of my favorite chess players is Alexander Alekhine. I mean, everybody who discovers Alekhine when you start playing chess, absolutely every one of us, are mouth waters. We all want to play like Alekhine, right? More or less. And none of us can. But I have learned a couple of interesting techniques. And in my practice games, I try to put some of his stuff in this also. They're patterns based upon the imbalances. Now, in this particular queen-pawn opening that I'm playing, he's put the question of my knight. He's coming straight at me in the center. So this is going to be a tense battle. But I remember playing through a couple of games of Alekhine's where he made this move. And I thought, I'm going to imitate him just for kicks and giggles. Wait a minute, you're moving the piece twice. I'm well aware of that. Watch the effects of this, though. Of course, this didn't happen exactly as it happened in Alekhine's game, but things were quite similar. He exchanges the bishop, of course, and I'm very happy to do that at this point. Now, I have a better development at this point. There is tension in the center. Pawns are roughly equal, but I have the better development. I also have the better opportunity to improve my development faster. And this was the point of moving that piece twice. Ironically, isn't it? You have the chance to develop faster by moving a piece twice? Yes, because what this does is it commits him to taking that pawn, right? And you say, yeah, now he's eliminated one of your central pawns. That's correct. When we learn, as we learn, to read the position of the board will talk to you. It will tell you what you're supposed to do. And you go, come on, dude. It's an inanimate object. All right, you're right. It doesn't have vocal cords. As we learn to read the needs of the position based upon how the chess pieces work together and play based on their movements, their strengths, and their weaknesses, and based upon the rules of chess, we can begin to read the position and automatically make the more correct moves than simply playing wandering about chess. What do you see in this board? Let me explain what I see. I'm kind of doing a Jeremy Silman amateur's mind with you in video. I'm the student and I'm thinking out loud, right? So some of my analysis may not be correct, but I'm showing you how I'm trying to practice doing what Silman says we should in order to improve. And I'm finding I'm beginning to improve somewhat. And I'm very excited about that. I'm on my journey to getting to be better at chess. You know what I see right now? There's one thing I see that is absolutely yelling its head off at me. And I proceed to do this because, one, it is in Silman's books. I promise, this is so in Silman's books. But it's also the move Alekin made. He didn't have this exact setup, but man, did he make this move, and man, did it make a difference, and man, does it make a difference in my practice game here. Do you see what the next move should be? I do. And it works. Ha! I love it. Rook takes the open file. Right? Nice. Well, he develops his bishop, hitting my knight. Now, I don't want to lose the knight. And you're saying, dude, you know, you've moved this knight 3 times. You've been condemning other players for moving a piece over and over and over and over and over again in the opening, but they got behind in development and didn't read the board properly. Silman is correct, you guys. Every game is based on imbalances. And the grandmasters, the international masters, and the masters, they know how to read the imbalances and how to take advantage of them. I really believe this is how chess is done. It's very exciting to see that I finally found the system that is the basis of all of chess. Truly. Now, black castles. This will explain why I am perfectly justified in a few minutes on making so many knight moves in the opening. I'm solidifying my center. Now you see the imbalance development, right? Now black's caught me. You see, it's a temporary imbalance. It's not a permanent imbalance. My open file is a permanent imbalance. I will have that open file throughout the course of the game. But my development isn't. See, I've got the open file, I've got a knight, I've got a couple of good central pawns and a queen. Well, he's castled, he's got a bishop, he's got a knight, and he's got development. He's got more queenside space because of that pawn. See the imbalances and how they work. He's caught me here. Now, do I have to let it remain that way? No, I don't. But he has caught me in development. I just need you to see that. What was my last move? Oh, that's right, I pressed the pawn. Now he brings his bishop. Notice he's moved his bishop twice now. Well, I'm going to limit the influence of his bishop, and I'm going to hit a central square. I have better central pawn structure than he does. And that's an imbalance. And you say, you know, some of these imbalances aren't very large. I mean, they're not really big things. That's right, some of them aren't. But as you add 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, if you add them enough, you end up with 50 trillion, don't you? Right? The more imbalances you find and use and make in your favor, the stronger your game. Right? Now, no, I lied. He moves his bishop to b5. Clearly, he's coming on the queen side. So see, he has better space here, right? You need to at least be cognizant of this. To use one of Mrs. Ransom's favorite words, you students must be cognizant of proper English use. Yeah, 9th graders, right on, babe. You betcha, honey. I loved her. She was a good teacher. We now know what my opponent's doing, don't we? Queenside space, look at this. That's his imbalance, so he's going to play on this side of the board, correct? Right? Again, I move a knight twice. I know this is so contradictory with what I've said earlier. Watch, though. I've noticed Alekin does this a lot, or did this a lot when he was alive. I'm still developing. He's pushing pawns now. He's gaining space, which is a good imbalance, right? You can coordinate your pieces better. In the process of him moving 1, 2, 3 pawns, I have developed further toward the center here and here. So, I'm now better developed than he is, but I have less queenside space, you see. My development is a good imbalance for me. I have more central space. He has more queenside space. Do you see how to read the board and see this, right? Very important to do this. Well, he's going to kick my knight off the perch. Boink. Perfect Steinitz rule. Get rid of the knight. Take away the squares that the knights can go to. At this point, I want to make sure I take out any or as much central influence that he might have, because that's where my imbalance lies. Correct? You can see this. I have the better pawn structure in the center, right? And I have more power in the center than he does. He's not as fully developed. He doesn't have the file that I do, etc., right? So I'm going to start thrusting in the center. I'm going to start fighting for the center. He brings his knight up. I take his knight. I want to get rid of that knight. And you say, really? And I say, yep. Well, this helps him develop his queen. This is true. It does help him develop his queen. But I've set the stage, I believe, in what limited understanding I have of the Silman thinking technique, using imbalances that are in our favor, or making an imbalance more favorable for us. I believe at this point, because I deliberately brought my knight up to where I can exchange knights. I was expecting him to exchange the knight, in which case I was going to do a pawn storm. Instead, he developed his queen. But now is my time. The knight is gone. He was hitting d5 and e4. Now I can begin my central push. Do you see why I made so many moves with that knight? It enables me to increase my favorable imbalance. This is my thinking going on while I'm playing this game. I'm trying to assess as much as I can. Well, now look. He really has a great queenside pawn roller here. I haven't done a lot to stop him or to prevent his counterplay because I've been focusing on the center, right? Well, the idea of Silman came into me. I read in his 4th edition of Reassess Your Chess. I retreat my knight. This is the famous 1-2 tap dance step of the retreating knight. And you say, oh, come on, dude. You lost your central influence. He is going to mow you over. Not yet. Hold on. Watch. There's a beautiful response by being able to retreat my knight. And now he does properly. He is coming on. Right? Truly. So I exchange the pawn. And he brings his queen over. Now at this point, what do we see? I have a serious weakness. I have a serious weakness. I've got a pawn that's in tension. I have great central with backup support. That's what I'm banking on here. But now he has been coming along this side and he has created weaknesses. My squares here are very weak. My squares here, he's getting to me on the queen side. He obviously is superior on the queen side. I believe I can beat him though through the center. Now he's focusing on the king side down to another one of my weaknesses. But watch. I don't leave my knight on the defensive first rank. I bring him right back up to the center. Because my whole theme that I am deliberately doing here is central thrust. And with this knight helping me hit here and here with the bishop's angle, and I know this is my bad bishop, and he is limited at this point, that's true, but he still has pretty good influence at this point. Limited, but good. He's not an entirely useless bishop. Well, he's coming now down. He sees what I'm doing, so he's going to counterbalance me. Or so he thinks. At this point, I'm getting quite excited, because I can't keep coming up this way with my king pawn, so I proceed with my queen pawn. Now, can you see that because of the imbalances, I'm well aware of his queenside thrust. I'm well aware that I have been moving my pieces far more in the opening than supposed necessary. However, I emphasized that I want to do a central thrust, and I'm doing it. That's a very good central thrust, right? Now, he does an intermezzo move before, or an intermezzo move before he moves his bishop out of problem. He's going to put the question to my queen, which I believe only helps me, because now I have a queen backed by a rook, and I have wonderful pressure on this pawn, so that this knight now plays a defensive role, while my knight here doesn't have to play a defensive role, but it's doing it at this point. Rightly so. He moves his bishop back. At this point, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, now that the counterplay is over here, I know where he's aiming at. He's coming after my weakness on G2. He's steadily aiming at it. Do I worry about this? Well, I've got to keep an eye on it. There's no question there. But I also noticed something, again from Silman. I'm trying to incorporate as much in my mind as I can, and I keep repeating and repeating and relearning Silman's stuff so that I can put it into my games. I have targets too now. He has weaknesses because of the way he's played. This is a weakness. Now, I understand it's held together by the rook for the moment. Look at that target I have up here on C7. Do you see that the tactic, if I was to take C7, both of those pieces are completely unguarded? Hey, that's a tactic worth looking at. I also recognize that by taking this pawn, he has a cool tactic. I am studying tactics harder now. I try to do 3 tactical puzzles a day, about 15 minutes, because that's all I have time for. I'm doing 3 tactical puzzles a day because tactics make you look at every single piece and how they move and the potential for a fork or a pin or taking one or the other power, etc. I was able to calculate something here before I even took that pawn. Now, I didn't get the calculation exactly right, but I saw something that gives me more power by fooling my opponent. My opponent goes right here, and you're slapping your palm to your head and you're saying, "Schertz, how could you not see that?" I did see that. It's obvious that's what he's going to do. Well, now I've got to move my queen, you moron. And look at what he's going to get. I get the bishop, and he gets the rook. You mean I deliberately lost the exchange on purpose? Yes, I deliberately did. But you're in check. You have to move now. Yes, I am deliberately in check, and I have to move now. But that means that you're going to lose 2 rooks for a bishop? No, that's not what that means. Although I do lose the other rook. It's not just rooks for a bishop, because now that comes to the end and I have his rook way down here out of complete play, and I'm also going to get his other rook leading directly to his king. I actually saw that several moves ahead because I'm learning how to do tactics. Check. And you go, well, that's really not all that impressive. Oh, wait a minute. The king's supposed to be here. Sorry, he didn't move his king. Check, and he moves his knight in front of his king. Because I've been studying tactics, I saw, and I was able to carry out, a knight maneuver. My knight's way down here in the middle of nowhere, though. But in just 2 short hops, he takes the action because of my knight. I now have the outpost. The queen is stopping his pawn from attacking my knight. So it's going to stay there for a few minutes. Right? I also have the back rank open file here. I have no rooks, but I've got a great combination coming up. He goes check. I didn't see this move, and it didn't really necessarily make a whole lot of difference in the game. I just moved up one, and now he takes the weakness. But notice what has happened, and this is about as far as I saw what could potentially happen because I more or less baited him. I deliberately let him come down, wipe my rooks out, and I deliberately let him have this weakness because I'm ahead of him with my pieces. Watch. Watch. This was really exciting for me. Another tactic that I learned in my study of tactics over the course of the last couple of weeks is I can remove the guard. And you say, remove what guard? The king is guarding that knight. I mean, I can't just come and take the knight with my queen. The king will take my queen. But I can make that king move by coming up here check. And this is very exciting for me. So he moves his king to here. And now I can take the knight. So I'm not too far down in material. In fact, I'm up material. Even though I've lost both rooks and I lost the exchange, I have more material than he does. However, the game is very close. Because now he's taking my pawn, and now he's coming for my bishop, and now he's got my 7th rank. So which one of us, we swapped places here, which one of us is going to get to the other king first? Me. Check. I love how this works out. King comes straight up. I have the initiative. In other words, I'm propelling the game at the speed I want it. I never give it up. You can't because he's ready to come and wipe me out. Check. He comes up to G5. Uh-oh, my camera just quit recording. I hope I don't skip a step here. So I've gone back a step. Sorry about the inconvenience with which my camera accorded your loveliness of my audience. However, I came check. The king comes up here to G5, and now I can completely obliterate his king side. This is why I know I'm going to win this game. It's very exciting. Now look, he's got an escape square here, and I noticed this when I was chasing him, right? I said, well, that's okay. I've got to keep giving him check. I have to keep giving him check. I can't slow down because now he's got the line to my king, and once he starts putting me in check, he's not going to stop till I'm checkmated either, right? So I have to find ways to checkmate him here. I go check, he comes back here. I go check, thinking, aha, I might have a line on him. He dodges back up to h6. So I go patiently check, and he patiently runs. You see, I have to cut off the king, don't I? I haven't built a mating net around him, so here I got looking at this. I know he's going to come back down here to this square. I've got to block this square somehow. Check. He brings up his king, and I go, aha. Aha! I don't have to just keep chasing him back and forth with my queen. I can now use my knight. Check. Now my knight's a little closer to this game. He dodges here. Now you know, if I come over here and go check, he's going to go to there again. Right? That's his escape square. So what's the way I can block it? Check. And now his own piece blocks his escape. He takes it with the pawn. Now I no longer have to worry about that escape square. And I've got him. Checkmate. So you can see, hopefully, that with incorporating as much as I can with the imbalances, trying to make those imbalances as favorable for me as I can. Now notice, he did the same thing on the queen side too, right? That's the right way to do it. But I knew central power always wins. There's another great chess lesson for you on that theme. I just recently uploaded 2 videos using 3 different games on the power of fighting for the center. Well, I played this game right after I made those videos, and I fought for the center. I knew he was coming over here, and I knew he was going to come dodging over here, and he got down through into here. It's okay. I used the center to help me win that game. Now, I've got a couple other practice games that I want to share with you in another video. I think I'm close to, 25 minutes or so on this one. I can only upload 30-minute videos, which is far better than 10 when I first started. So, happy checkmating, happy chessercising, happy life, and I'll see you in the next video.